Hello backyard vegetable gardeners, welcome to the Backyard Vegetable Gardening channel. Today is Tuesday, January the 21st, 2025. I sure hope you're having a great day. Well guys, it's not uncommon around here for me to have trouble starting these videos, so just bear with me. We're going to try to do the best we can here. You know, it's one of them deals. It's not really a big secret these days that there's a lot of folks who are concerned about what sort of food they're putting in their belly. And with good reason. I mean, it don't matter if you buy a canned good or a boxed good or even something that's been bagged as produce. You can't read half what's in it, and even if you go to the fresh produce aisle, you have no idea what kind of chemicals have been sprayed on it. And I'm not going to get into whether that's right or wrong. I'm just going to say that that's the concern. Well, you know, people want to grow more of their own food. Well, what do you do when it's 20 degrees outside or 10 degrees outside and it's been that way for a while and the ground's hard? Well, that's the case here. It's hard, man. That ground is hard, it is cold, and you ain't doing nothing outdoors unless you've got a conditioned space like a greenhouse. Well, most of us don't have that luxury. I know some of you do, maybe a lot of you do. And one of these days I sure hope to have one, but as of this time I do not. And that made me think about making a video about how you can enjoy fresh salad greens, fresh salad veggies year-round by growing them indoors. So if that's something that you're interested in, stick around and we'll show you how we do it. Hello everybody and welcome back to the channel. Sure hope you're having a great day. Crops like this leaf lettuce, these radishes, are relatively easy to grow. They require just a little bit of space and they're real fast growers. Additionally, you can grow plants like dill and chives, even some bunching onions to have some extra seasoning to put on those salads. In fact, one time, one of my grandbabies encouraged her papa to grow some little baby carrots in one of these self-watering planters like you see right here behind me. And boy, was that a wonderful, wonderful experience. And not only did we grow about 24 little short and sweet baby carrots, we had one excited little grandbaby. Every time she'd go to pick from that thing, she'd get her one of those little carrots, wipe it off on her skirt there, and she'd just chomp away on it. She didn't wash that thing off or nothing. And I asked her one time, I said, "Ain't you worried about that?" She said, "No, Papa, because you don't put no junk in your carrots." And that was a blessing. Now, they do require a little bit more space than what you see right here behind me. I mean, those carrots, they grow about 2 foot tall, so you've at least got to have a shelf that's that tall or some corner of your house or something like that. Don't know if I'd recommend you do it, but it was lots of fun, and if she ever asked me to do it again, Papa would oblige, and we'd grow her some more carrots in the indoor salad garden. Now, with your leaf lettuce and your radishes, you can expect to harvest those in about 45 days. When it comes to your chives and your dill plants, once they're established, you can harvest them about whenever you want to. But when it comes to those bunching onions we was talking about, that's a different variety of sorts. See, those things are what's called a biennial plant, meaning that in the second year, they're going to go to seed, or when they think they're in the second year. Now, I've had pretty good luck growing bunching onions indoors. We've been growing some for a little over a year, and I just had to plant some new ones. These have started going to seed. Not going to harvest off of them anymore. So be sure to know that if you're going to grow stuff like that, you're going to have to reseed them every year. So after about a year, go ahead and get you some started, and then in a few months, you'll just dig up what you have and plant those transplants, and you'll be good to go for another year. And with your lettuce, when it comes to harvesting, you've really got two methods. You can let these plants grow to maturity and you can harvest the whole heads. And if you do that, you're going to have to concern yourself with succession planting. What I typically recommend is you stagger out your sowing about 2 to 4 weeks apart, something like that, depending on your eating habits, and you'll have plenty of lettuce. Now, around here, we like to do the cut and come again method, which means these plants will all come up. In a few more weeks, we'll start harvesting off of them. I guess I could start harvesting them now if we wanted some baby lettuce, but we've got lettuce already. We're not going to worry about these. We're going to let them grow a little bit larger. But when it comes to the cut and come again method, I can get about 5 or 6 harvests off each one of these plants. And we've got 6, 12, 18, 21 lettuce plants in here. So I'm not going to have to worry about succession planting, because by the time these are done, I'll be able to put some out in the ground. We won't worry about it. But when it comes to your radishes, you really need to think of them like you do those whole heads. You're going to want to succession plant your radishes. This tray right here, we'll start harvesting in about 2-3 more days. I could get some right now if I really wanted to, but I'm going to give them a few more days, let them get good and plump. but you're going to dig them up and they're done. Best thing to do is to have you at least 2 trays. That way you've got one started right behind the other. You want to stagger them out just a couple weeks, just like you would that head lettuce. Now, if you want to have plenty of radishes that'll last you over and over again, kind of an endless supply, you say, you want to have at least 3 of these trays. And what we're using here is just a little baking pan with the lid. We're growing in the lid, got holes in it, and we're using the actual baking pan as the watering tray, holds the water. When it comes to growing this stuff, really and truly, it all comes down to watering and feeding. If you look here, you got some cups, got some pans, got some self-water containers. What it comes down to is the plant, the type of container you're growing in, the size of the container, and the type of medium you got. So we'll start out with the type of medium. And these little cups here, these little solo cups, 16-ounce cups, we're growing in a cocoa coir-based medium. It don't have any nutrients whatsoever in it. And it don't hold nutrients very well. So every time I water, I have to feed these plants. When it comes to this little tray right here, it's got a compost. The growing medium has compost in it, and it has plenty of nutrition. I've only had to fertilize these one time right here toward the end of the growing process when I think they ought to start bulbing, and that provided all the nutrition they needed. Now, as far as the actual watering goes, with these, I typically water these every 2 to 3 days. And with the radishes in this little baking pan, same deal, every 2 to 3 days. Now, because this cocoa coir is different than your peat moss variety mediums, you got to be a little bit more careful. You don't want either one of them to dry out. It's really hard to get those things rehydrated, but typically every 2 to 3 days for these little cups. Now, when these plants get taller, I'll definitely probably have to water them every single day. With these radishes, nothing's going to change. I'm going to harvest them here in a few days, and we'll start the process all over. And that's one of the reasons we really recommend these self-watering containers indoors. They're just the right size. They don't take up a lot of space at all, and they hold about 3 liters of water. So these lettuce plants right now, these small lettuce plants, I'm watering them once a week, and that does them plenty good. And what'll wind up happening when they start getting bigger, I wind up watering them 2 or maybe 3 times a week. It just depends, because I've got relatively a lot of lettuce in these little things, but it sure beats having to babysit them every single day. And friends, I really can't tell you enough just how much I appreciate our little indoor office garden. We've been growing it for the past several years. It's really been a blessing. Not only does it provide a good amount of food, I mean, I can eat off this thing almost every day that I wanted to. In fact, I can even have enough to take home with me in the evenings to have salad. Now, if I wanted to do that every day at home, I'd have to grow some more, but for our eating habits around here, man, this is plenty of food. But I also get to enjoy several times a week being out here with my grandbabies. Boy, do they love being out here. One of them just likes the dirt, and the other one, she likes everything about growing food. And boy, that's a blessing. We come out here and we just have a good old time. Honestly, having an indoor salad garden is just a no-brainer. If you don't have a controlled space, like a greenhouse or something like that, growing in a little setup like this right here, you just can't beat it. Loads of fun. It don't cost hardly nothing. Once you get set up, yep, you got to buy a kitchen right, got to get some lights, and if you're smart about it, you'll get you some fans. But once you get that initial investment done, I mean, you're talking like $100, $150, 30 more bucks for a good timer, and pretty much just set it, forget it. Come back and water it every now and again, feed it every now and again, and boy, you got plenty of food. So it's inexpensive to do, takes up just very little space. It's not difficult at all, and it's an enjoyable experience, especially this time of year when it's cold and dark outside all the time. So just a little space, a little bit of planning. Almost anybody can enjoy having wonderfully fresh salad veggies almost every day of the week by growing them indoors, right at home, regardless of what season it is. Well, guys, I appreciate you sticking around to the end of the video. If you like this video, if you learned something, maybe I encourage you to start growing your own indoor garden. I hope you'll hit that like button. Sure lets me know that you appreciate it. I'm not just wasting my time. Let YouTube know that you appreciate it. If you like gardening and garden-related content, I hope you consider subscribing to the channel. Over 86% of our viewers aren't subscribers. So guys, if you like this content and you're not a subscriber, subscribe to the channel. Hit that notification bell if you'd like to be notified when we release a new video. And please, if you know anybody that likes this sort of thing, I hope you'll share it with them on other social media. As always, this is Michael with the Backyard Vegetable Gardening channel, hoping you have a very great day.